In my lap, kinda. No, on the side. Welcome back to another video. This is the final part of a 4-part process series, I guess within my Road 35 to Infinity, where I've been having a dance residency to make a solo performance. Arriving to the 4th and final week of this process, it was time to set it up. This was my first moment, actually, that I would be in the theater space to really try things out with a technician who I met for the first time. Well, first of all, he pretty quickly told me what was possible and what was not possible, and depending on that, or based on that, I had to tweak my idea. Because, for example, I had the idea of having lights fade in and fade out, but that was not possible, and the only thing I could do was to turn them off or on. In one idea, I didn't really have to physically touch the lamps, and then the second idea, I had to touch the lamps, which already, as an observer, might tell you something different, which is something that I've also come to learn more about in this making process, that choices you make of the way it's done, the image is telling the audience something different. And this goes with everything or anything that you do in whatever you create, that choices you make transmit something to the audience, and it might be something you hadn't really thought of, wasn't a conscious choice, but the audience doesn't know that. Anything that they'll see will come across as something you chose, and your performance might say something that you hadn't intended to. So yeah, it wasn't until now, my 4th and final week, where I could actually try it. I had visualized it so much, and I really was so set on this idea that it worked. I'm also happy to know that the idea works with or without the lights. It's just giving very different images, but at least now I could potentially perform the solo, or that half of the solo, without lights, so in a very different, in any location really. Something I might try. As I'm setting up, at this point of the process, I start to realize how, for my next process, it can be nice to invite people into the process earlier. Like, for example, what would become of this solo if I would have a light designer? Since I had such a clear idea of working with light bulbs, or with lights, that they had an important role, maybe I could then contact or look for a light designer who I could invite to the process and have a conversation, explain my ideas, and this person could then share their creative inputs. This would then take the performance in a different direction, perhaps even closer to or even better than what I had envisioned. What I'm taking with is that for my following projects, for me to also think, okay, is the dance the most important part? Do I need any lights, costumes, scenography that stands out to look for people that could add a lot of value to the process? Collaborate with more people. Don't have to do everything on your own. I had 2 days of setting the lights, and then at the general rehearsal, it was my first time that I could perform my solo in one go, and having all the puzzle pieces there. It was such a relief to get to that point where I could actually just perform it, and I didn't have to ask nobody to do nothing, just I could perform it from beginning to end. I think overall my performance landed between 25 and 30 minutes. That's something I'm also very proud of, that I never thought I would be able to do, be on stage for that long by myself. Yeah, good job. And after the general rehearsal, I got a lot of feedback. Luckily, a lot of the feedback had more to do with timing within the solo, my focus, so my performance more than anything. So things I could easily adjust without having to remake the solo. We have then arrived to the premiere day or premiere night. Yeah, it's something special to get to present something you've made. I was super excited, nervous, but in no moment did I have any doubts. I was so ready to present what I had. Yeah, I felt proud of myself. Yeah, I didn't have any doubts. I didn't judge my solo. I had the opportunity to perform 2 days if we don't count the general rehearsal. This second day performance is also a very interesting place to be in. Whereas the premiere is my first time, feeling of being nervous but still excited, so ready to go, and you just perform. The second day I was a bit more relaxed, but as I was getting closer to perform, the one thing that came through my mind that I was trying to be very aware of is to not latch on, to not hang on to the premiere performance experience, because the premiere felt good. I didn't want to have to think about to have this solo be on the same as the premiere. To really think, okay, it's a new day, it's a new performance, and whatever happened yesterday does not exist anymore. Very busy up here until a certain point, and then I could let it go. I performed, and that was that. So after both days of performance, there was an after talk. And this after talk was meant for the audience to kind of like give something to the artist for them to take with them post this residency. The audience was given a post-it note on which they could write a message. It could be a question, it could be a feedback, it could just be a comment, it could be one word that they thought of. So it can literally be anything. And then these post-it notes were then put on a big piece of paper. That was done on both days, and yeah, it was a nice moment to have this conversation with the audience. And all these post-it notes had something I could allow myself to bring into my creation. I've saved them all, so I have here, this is from the first day, there's a lot. On the back, there's another group of post-its. Whoop! No! So there's a lot to digest. I will just have to find time to do that. For somebody that's gonna go into a process like this, so a residency, to always have in mind that you will always have less time than you think. This 4-week residency ended up actually being 3 weeks, because the last week was basically putting things together, like so getting into the theater with the technician, setting the lights. That would take a whole day maybe. The general rehearsal and then the premiere. There wasn't really much time to keep on making. By the final week, it's more of like, okay, to get ready to present whatever you have. So the big question I have for myself now I have a solo, and now what? I think the next step would be to take this solo and send it out to different like festivals or like theaters to see if I have the opportunity to continue performing it. Another idea, do I want to continue developing this solo? Maybe now it would be a good idea to take in a light designer, to basically bring in people into the process and to see how you could elevate it. It'll happen like step by step, I think. I'm also very aware that it's June, so I have June, I have July, and I have half of August to kind of like continue my practice and to get myself ready for this goal that I've set for myself. I'm excited. I'm very excited. I'm very happy with my process so far. I have a very beautiful journey to look back at since the start of this Road 35 to Infinity, and very grateful. I think is first and foremost jumping back into my practice, and then alongside this to kind of see what I can do with my solo, because again I would want to continue with it also. Yeah, that's basically it. What I am curious about, if anybody was watching, if you have done a residency before, and how did your experience compare to what I've been sharing? What are the similarities, or what are the other insights that you had in your process? Please let me know in the comments below. And then for anybody who hasn't yet applied or been in a dance residency, I hope that the videos I've shared are helpful and that you are interested in applying for one. So just allow these ideas of yours to marinate, and as soon as things become clear, get them down on paper, and start applying. There are a lot of opportunities, and I think that we just need to take the first step and reach out until our opportunity arrives. Thank you for following me on this journey and for watching this video. And nothing else to say. Just enjoy your practice. I will see you in the next one.